guys, this is Sophie Shohet. Welcome back to another video. If you are new, definitely subscribe because I do 3 videos a week and they're all of a luxury nature, except this one, but this one is a means to buying luxury. Okay, guys, today we're talking about debt. It's a horrible topic, no one wants to talk about it, but I want to share with you my debt story, how I came through it, how I paid everything off and got out of it. And to be honest, even though it was a long time ago now, I think I remember I paid everything off in around about 2010. But even so, it feels like yesterday to me, and I never ever end up in that situation again because it was so scary. My whole debt situation started when I joined university. I went to university in London. Everything was way expensive, and it was kind of compounded by the fact that the first day in freshers, when you go around and you enroll for your course and everything, I went into the student union, and I vividly remember all of the banks were there and they all had a table set out, and they were all giving away free gifts if you signed up for one of their student accounts, and all of the student accounts came with a £2,000 overdraft. So I'm there, I'm like a kid myself. I'm there and I've met this new girl, and we go up to NatWest, and NatWest are giving away free crayons on a mug. And we're like, oh, can we have some free crayons on a mug? And the guy's like, yeah, you can, but you need to sign up for a student account. And we were like, oh, but we don't want the student account. He's like, well, that's the only way you can get it. He goes, you don't have to use it, just sign up for it, and then you can have your crayons and a free mug. So we sign up for it, £2,000 overdraft. I didn't even want the £2,000 overdraft, but he was like, that's what it comes with. Goodbye, here's your mug and your crayons. We go to Barclays, who are on the table next door to NatWest. Barclays have got a teddy, a cuddly toy. I really wanted that. We end up signing up for another student account just so we can get the teddy. And honest to God, at that point, myself and my friend had absolutely zero intent on ever using these bank accounts. Zero intent. All we knew is we had some crayons, a mug, and a cuddly toy, and that was all good. What do you know starts happening? Get to a few weeks or months into university, you're literally living on the poverty line. You're eating I was just eating Weetabix 3 times a day. And any extra money I did have, I was going out partying, because that's what you do at uni. That's what you do. By the end of 3 years, that £4,000, I'd used that up. And the rest, I had credit cards. I did what I needed to do to get through university. And yeah, looking back, I was an absolute idiot. There were certain things I was spending my money on that I really didn't need to. But do you know what? I was an 18-year-old. Yeah, 18-year-old when I went to university. I was a kid, and this is the problem when institutions like that trust you with that sort of money. You're gonna behave like a kid, because you are a kid. So I come out of uni, and I was like, I'm not gonna worry. I'm gonna get a job. I've got a degree now. People are gonna be biting my hand off to get me to work for them. I'm gonna be paid a decent amount, and I'll have this under control in no time. Come out of uni. I could not even volunteer for work. There was just no work going, and in the end the only job I could get was a job I've spoken about before. I hated it. It was in customer service. It had zero to do with my degree, and the pay was beyond terrible. I mean, to give you an idea, the pay wasn't enough to cover all of my direct debits that came out each month. So on my credit cards, I was paying off the minimum each month. And on everything, I was paid so poorly that it didn't pay for all of my bills. Plus my petrol to get to the job in the first place, it didn't pay for all that stuff. And I was stuck in that job for around about 2 years before I was able to move on. And eventually I got a decent job that paid me decent money, and it was at that point that I was able to take control. The first thing is, guys, is don't necessarily think that you've got to be earning a fortune. It really helps if you're earning a little bit more, and that is one thing I'm going to come on to, but don't think that. The first thing you need to do, this might sound really, really obvious, but the first thing to do is you need to make a spreadsheet. You need to log into all of your online accounts or however you get your statements, and you need to work out what your balances are on everything. You also need to document what percentage APR you're paying on that balance. This is really important, because if you're paying a really high APR on something, you could be paying I don't know, £100 a month against, I don't know, £1,000 balance. And if it's got a really high APR on it, you're going to be paying that for ever. So you really need to know what your APR is against the balance, because collectively, if you've got lots of credit cards or lots of store cards, those balances collectively really add up when you stick the APR on top of it. So that's the first thing. Don't ignore it. Just log into your accounts and make a list of everything that you owe, who it's to, and what the APRs are. The next thing that I really recommend, because this can be helpful to get you onto the next step that I'm going to come to, the next thing is to find out what your credit score is. You can do this in the UK, it's Experian and Equifax. Now, I thought that they were the same, like two different companies, but that your score would be the same with both of them, but they're not. Your score is slightly different with both of them. It's better if you can log into both and have a look at how you're doing. Now, to get a score, I think you normally have to pay around about £5. And with some of these online credit checks, it's really annoying because they charge you like a monthly fee. But what you can do is you can log in, get a 1 month free trial, and then just remember to log back in again and turn it off when you're done with it. Okay, so let's imagine that your credit score's like pretty good. What you now need to do, and it depends on your situation, but what I did that really helped me is I applied for interest-free credit cards that I then moved various different balances from the highest APR cards onto. And I was then able to divide that sum by the months for which I had the interest free for. So if it was like 12 months, I'd take, I don't know, like £1,000 divided by 12 and I'd pay that off each month. You've got to be really disciplined with it, but it's a really good way of breaking things down, of like fast tracking yourself, because you've got that deadline. You can't just be aimlessly paying off money each month because you know, hey, that APR is gonna, like that 0% is gonna run out. So I really need to nail this balance by that point. If for you, if like opening up another credit card that's interest free isn't an option for whatever reason, I did this and it worked for me. If you phone them up, you can sometimes negotiate with them on the APR. And also another good thing, if you've got a credit card through your bank, if you've got a good relationship with your bank, sometimes they're more likely to do that for you. So for example, if I go and see my bank manager, I'll be like, can you do something on the interest rate? And he'll like be able to do it there and then. It's a really good way. So like try and get a good relationship with your bank people or your credit card or whatever. Do not touch payday loans, guys. I mean, I don't even know how they're allowed to continue, because honestly, it's like criminal what they do to people, and the percentages they charge people. Just really don't do it. And if you're in a really stressed position with money, which can happen, I always found that it helped to tell someone that I like trusted and knew wasn't going to judge me, because that's the other thing with debt, is like when you're in debt, you get a lot of people that are like, oh, how did you get into that? And it's like really unhelpful. It's like, how I got into it is somewhat irrelevant right now. I just need to like figure out a way of getting out of it. So definitely talk to someone. And other options, I just want to talk about a couple of options that you can do in order to generate money. The first thing is to sell things that you don't need, that you've got in your life that you don't need. Stick it on eBay, put it on Depop, sell that, and then use the money to like pay off the debt. Another thing you can do, and I know it totally depends on the sort of job you do, whether you're even in a job or, you know, whatever the case may be, but another thing that used to work for me, very often, if I'd done like a really good job and I felt like I was deserving of a bonus, I would actually proactively ask for one. And you'll be surprised, most of the time, when you actually have the, you know, the strength and the determination to say, do you know what, I deserve this, I worked really hard on that project, I think I deserve a bonus. A lot of like decent places will actually go, yeah, maybe you're right, here's some money. And I tell you why, because if you go in there and you know you've done a good job, normally the person who you're talking to, unless they're like an a-hole, they're not gonna turn around and go, actually, I think you did a terrible job. Because then if they think that, then you can be like, well, why didn't you say something to me? Actually, I think, you know, I smashed all my targets. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's normally black and white. The main thing is don't let it get you down. Honestly, take control, get it managed, tell someone if that's gonna make you feel better. I really hope this video hasn't been like tedious or boring or depressing. I just wanna do it because in this world where we talk about luxury items and goods and services, it's all very well talking about that stuff, but you need to be able to pay for it. And things like debt, saving money, getting a good job, they're the foundations of being able to live the sort of life that you might want to live. And so that's why I want to talk about it, and hopefully it will help people out there. If you've enjoyed this video or if you found it helpful, please give me the thumbs up. If you've got any tips or advice that you think could help others, please write it in the comments below. Come and join me in the next video. I'm going to link to it there. Click on that little white thing and I'll see you in 5.